The day before President Donald Trump left office, former U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo issued a formal statement designating China's heinous crimes against Uyghurs and other minorities in Xinjiang as genocide and crimes against humanity. Analysts believe it is an important step toward holding the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, accountable, and the declaration has set a tone for the Biden administration to follow. In a Twitter post on January 19th, Pompeo wrote, "I have determined that the People's Republic of China is committing genocide and crimes against humanity in Xinjiang, China, targeting Uyghur Muslims and members of other ethnic and religious minority groups. These acts are an affront to the Chinese people and to civilized nations everywhere. The People's Republic of China and the CCP must be held to account." Pompeo also said in the official statement that China's repression against Uyghur Muslims and members of other ethnic and religious minority groups had begun at least in March 2017. The crimes perpetrated in Xinjiang include forced sterilization, forced labor, and restrictions on freedom of expression and movement. Party apparatchiks have denied international observers unhindered access to Xinjiang and denounced reliable reports about the worsening situation on the ground, instead spinning fanciful tales of happy Uyghurs participating in educational, counter-terror, women's empowerment, and poverty alleviation projects. However, at the same time, the CCP demonizes Uyghurs by disseminating negative messages to the Chinese people, according to the statement. After careful examination of the available facts, I have determined that since at least March 2017, the People's Republic of China, under the direction and control of the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, has committed crimes against humanity against the predominantly Muslim Uyghurs and other members of ethnic and religious minority groups in Xinjiang, Pompeo said.
Although Pompeo's statement only sets a tone, it is a very important step. As a Secretary of State who is about to leave office, he did his best until the last minute. We admire him for having a greater vision and a strong sense of responsibility. This is precious and commendable.
The United States calls upon China to immediately release all arbitrarily detained persons, abolish its system of internment, detention camps, house arrest, and forced labor, and end the persecution of Uyghurs and other members of religious and ethnic minority groups in Xinjiang and all over China, Pompeo said. The determination of atrocities is a rare action on the part of the State Department, and it was the Trump administration's final action on China, made on its last full day.
I believe Pompeo's statement has further laid the groundwork. It has set a tone for the US government to respond to the CCP's large-scale human rights violations in Xinjiang. It is a solid groundwork. Regarding the Xinjiang issue, the future Biden administration is expected to follow this statement, both in the designation of China's crimes and in future sanctions.
A few days earlier, Pompeo voiced his support for religious freedom in China. He is also the first U.S. Secretary of State to openly speak against the persecution of Falun Gong in China.
Speaking of genocide and crimes against humanity, actually the CCP's brutal persecution of Falun Gong fits this category even more, and it is much more evil in nature. The crime of live organ harvesting from Falun Gong practitioners was exposed more than 10 years ago, much earlier than the divulgence of the crimes in Xinjiang's interment camps.
On July 20th last year, Pompeo issued an official statement to condemn the CCP's persecution of Falun Gong. He called on the CCP to immediately end its depraved abuse and mistreatment of Falun Gong practitioners, release those imprisoned due to their beliefs. Pompeo has also addressed the crime of organ harvesting from Falun Gong practitioners. On December 10, 2020, he imposed sanction against a Chinese public security officer for severe violations of religious freedom of Falun Gong practitioners.
The CCP has committed human rights violations against Falun Gong and various other religious groups. In particular, it has caused extremely serious devastation to Falun Gong practitioners. It not only deprives Falun Gong practitioners of their rights to faith, but it also gives orders to destroy them physically. The crime of live organ harvesting is extremely bloody and inhumane. It's an unbearable atrocity.
U.S. Senator Marco Rubio, chair of Congressional-Executive Commission on China, welcomed the State Department's determination. In a statement following Pompeo's statement on the same day, Rubio said, "The Trump administration did the right thing by calling the horrific crimes being committed by the Chinese Communist Party against Uyghurs and other Muslim minorities by their rightful name, crimes against humanity and genocide. Today's determination by the State Department is an important step towards accountability and justice. The ongoing crimes at the hands of the Chinese government is a human tragedy that demands an immediate international response." Due to some new restrictions on social media, our channel might be affected. If you'd like to stay tuned to our channel and to receive notifications and updates, please provide us with your email by clicking the link below. Thanks for your support.